Hello and welcome to Learn French with Dr. Krabby. I am Dr. Krabby and I have a PhD in comparative literature and over 10 years of experience teaching French as a second language in Canada and in Germany. It is my goal to make education accessible to all. Today we will talk about personal pronouns. So what they are, how they're used, and we will see a few examples together. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alors, que sont les pronoms personnels? What are personal pronouns? Even when you know the meaning of a word, it's always useful to look it up in a dictionary. You are bound to learn at least a thing or two. So that's what I did. I looked up the word pronoun. What is a pronoun? Un pronom est un mot-outil qui peut prendre la place d'un syntagme nominal. So in English, a pronoun is a tool word that can take the place of a nominal syntagma. So what is a nominal syntagma, you're going to ask me? Of course, because that is a linguistic term. So it's very normal if you don't know what that means. So the word nominal refers to the noun, right? Because in grammar, in any language, we have different categories of words. So we have nouns, adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and so on. And nominal refers to nouns. And what is a syntagma then, right? So let's look it up while we're at it. Le syntagma is une unité syntaxique intermédiaire entre le mot et la phrase, comprenant un seul noyau et souvent des compléments. So a syntagma is an intermediate syntactical unit between the word and the sentence, comprising one single core and oftentimes complements. In other words, that means that it's not quite a single word and it's not quite a full sentence. So it's a group of a few words, 2, 3, 4 words usually, comprising one single core, which is a noun. For example, we could say the big dogs. The big dogs is a nominal syntagma because we have one core, which is dogs, a noun, and we have complements to it, the, an article, and big, an adjective, right? And this entire syntagma, we could replace it with a pronoun. So the big dogs could be replaced by they, right? So this is what a personal pronoun is used for. It replaces a nominal syntagma, a group of words. And one more thing, personnel. What does personnel mean? So personal is the adjective of the noun person. So a person in a grammatical sense is le rôle que tient la personne ou la chose en cause dans l'acte d'énonciation. So the role held by the person or the thing in the act of enunciation. Basically, what does that mean? A subject. That's all that means, a subject. So the person or the thing that does the action of the verb. So in other words, let's break it down and make it super simple for all of us. Les pronoms personnels désignent ou remplacent une ou des personnes ou choses. So personal pronouns refer to or replace one or many people or things. Les pronoms personnels sont des sujets. Personal pronouns are subjects. And finally, personal pronouns change the conjugation of the verb. Les pronoms personnels changent la conjugaison du verbe. And that is extra important for us when we learn a foreign language, right? Especially French, because all the verbs that you're going to be learning in your entire life will vary depending not only on the tense, but also on the subject. So the personal pronoun is gonna make the spelling and the pronunciation of the verb different depending on which one it is. So what are they? Which ones do we have to keep in mind? So in French, we break personal pronouns down into two categories, singular and plural. So pronouns that refer to one person or one thing, or many people or many things. And each of these two categories has three persons, first, second, and third, right? Just like in English, actually. So we have je, which means I, tu, which means you, il, which means he, elle, which means she. Be careful, however. Il and elle don't always refer to people, to human beings, unlike in English. So he is always used for a male person, she for a female person. But in French, they can also refer to things and to nouns. Why? Because in French, as you may know, everything has a grammatical gender. So even if you were to say the table is big, la table est grande, la table in French, table is feminine. Okay, so you would replace la table by elle, she, technically. So you have to keep that in mind. That's why learning the gender of nouns is so important when you learn French. Also be careful, we have on, but on does not mean it, right? Because in English we use it for objects or for non-gendered things, but because in French everything has a gender, we don't have that gender-neutral pronoun. On, instead, can mean two things. So it can refer to the impersonal pronoun on, so when it refers to something general and not one person in particular. We will analyze that in further details in another video. Or it can also refer to we. So in an informal context, you can say on instead of we. And we also have nous, which means we, vous, which means you in the plural and formal form. So we already looked at that in a previous video. Feel free to look it up. And finally, il and elle mean they. Once again, il and elle can refer to a group of things, not just people. And so let's look at a few examples. I put 3 verbs on this table, avoir and être, to have and to be, because they are the 2 most important verbs in the French language. Of course, because we use them all the time, but also because they're auxiliary verbs. So they're used in a variety of verb tenses. And chanter for an example of a regular ER verb. Before I pronounce them out loud, one thing to keep in mind, actually 2 things to keep in mind. First, si un verbe commence par une voyelle, on contracte je et le verbe. So if a verb starts with a vowel, we contract je and the verb. So je, you take out the I and replace it with an apostrophe. So je and et becomes j'ai. Also to keep in mind, si un verbe commence par une voyelle, on prononce le S final avec nous, vous et il and elle au pluriel. So if a verb starts with a vowel, once again, we pronounce the final S of nous, vous, and plural il, elle, right? Because usually final S's are silent in French. So nous, you don't say nous, you say nous. But when the following word starts with a vowel, you make what we call a liaison. So you link the 2 words together. So nous avons, vous êtes, right? So let's go through each of these conjugations. So j'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Je suis, tu es, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, elles sont. Je chante, tu chantes, on chante, nous chantons, vous chantez, ils chantent. As you can see, a lot of endings are silent, especially with the regular ER verbs. So chante, 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 chantons, chantez, chante. All good? Now just a few more examples in full sentences. Ils voyagent, they travel. Tu donnes une fleur à ta mère. You give a flower to your mom. Nous allons à l'école. We go to school. Elle est grande. She is big, or it is big, because here we don't have the context. We don't know if elle refers to a woman or a girl, or if it refers to a feminine noun, right? It could be talking about a house, a big house, so it is big. On va à l'école, we go to school. Once again, on in informal contexts can mean we. And finally, je t'aime, I love you. If you found this lesson useful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, and feel free to look me up on other platforms. Don't hesitate to leave a comment below if it helps you, and to tell me what you would like me to teach next. So merci et passez une excellente journée. Au revoir!